Hello and welcome. My name is Errity Green and this is Wise Woman Television. Thank you for being here and being a part of this community. I am so grateful and so very excited to have you. I first want to encourage you to like and subscribe. Liking ensures that we reach other people and change more lives, and subscribing ensures your own commitment to yourself. If you press the bell icon, you'll get a notification every single time a video pops up, and that will be your reminder to return to yourself. So welcome to today's reading on how are they thinking and feeling. So this is on Twinflame, Soulmate, No Contact. Whether you're in a relationship or not in a relationship, this should be able to meet the current conditions and circumstances of your situation or situationship or relationship, no contact, having been ghosted, or otherwise you are uncertain as to how they were thinking and how they are feeling, okay? So we're going to talk about that today. So I encourage you to stick around. I do want to let you know that I offer both personal, intuitive readings as well as coaching sessions to support you in your life, in your work, and on your spiritual path, and to support you with more clarity and guidance to you personally if this reading lands for you. So I will go ahead and place your choices up now. We will have 4 piles today. Hopefully I get it right when I'm talking about them, as I usually do 3, and so I'll get to the 4th pile and still talk about pile 3, but I do mean pile 4 when I get there. All right, we will begin. Okay, so card pile 1. Actually, I'm just now turning your cards over and taking a look. So where is your person at? They're reclusive. They've pulled away from you, from this connection in some way. So for card pile 1, if you chose pile 1, feeling like there is probably some kind of distance or disconnect here. They've contracted. They have withdrawn. They've pulled away in some way from this connection. They might be tending to their wounds, licking their wounds. It seems like there might have been some kind of fallout, and now there is this aftermath. So this person is in their feels and feeling some kind of way, as we might use the terminology, and they've pulled away. They've distanced from this connection. So it feels like for some of you in card pile 1, this person is trying to maybe even avoid those feelings. They're certainly avoiding the connection. Some of them might also be trying to stay busy, trying to not focus on this connection. They're trying not to think or feel too much, but it is gnawing at them. It's eating away at them. They can't get around it or avoid it. They very much are being occupied or preoccupied by this connection, by their feelings, even though some of them are trying to deny and suppress it. Some of them are actively in pain. Again, they are licking their wounds. They're tending to their wounds. They are feeling challenged. You know, they are going through a thing with this disconnect. Now, it doesn't feel like at this moment this person would be reaching out or reconnecting or have that desire at this moment, because again, they've withdrawn, they've contracted their energy, they're focusing on themselves, but it doesn't feel like they're focusing on themselves in like kind of like the positive or aligned way where they are focused on their goals and focused on their growth. It feels like they're very much in the feels of this, and it maybe even rehashing things that were said, rehashing things that were done, trying to make sense of the situation, trying to assess the situation, trying to make themselves feel better, trying to understand you and them. It doesn't feel like this person blames you or faults you. It feels like this person is aware of all of the things that contributed to the falling out, to the distance that has now happened. It feels like they're well aware of all the variables. It feels like they are well aware of all of the variables and what is influencing or what influenced the fallout and that led to these repercussions. So it doesn't feel like they hold any blame, but it does feel like they're in the feels of this connection. So it does look like they're mourning a little bit. They're thinking about days past. They're thinking about also some of the memories and wishing things could be different, wishing things might have been done differently, might even be wishing about how things could have been or would be. Again, I'm not feeling the energy yet that they would be re-entering the connection or reaching out if you are in distance or separation or no contact or having been ghosted. It feels like, again, they have contracted and withdrawn. And so I'm not feeling any forward moving energy here at the moment. Feels very much self-focused and a pulling back, but they are sort of mourning the loss. They are reviewing the past, being a little bit nostalgic and romantic about it. Maybe even wishing things might have been said differently, like I said, done differently. They might have approached it differently. There's just some regrets and some remorse here. I think some wishes that things could have been done or said differently. I'm not yet getting a feeling as to one way or the other that, again, that there was a particular reason for this fallout. You know, sometimes in these readings we get like a third party situation or kind of like lackadaisical playboy or playgirl kind of energy where they're just going around doing their thing. It feels like this person was committed to you in some way, on some level. They were invested in this connection. They were invested in this relationship, whether you called it a relationship or not. They were invested. And then if you are in a relationship, this could still apply, in which case sometimes there are times in our relationships where the person pulls back and they're tending to their own wounds and trying to figure things out, organize their own thoughts before they reapproach. So if you are in a relationship, this very much could connect with you, because this person's also thinking of like, gosh, this could have been so perfect. This had so much potential. There was so much potential here for the two of us to grow together, to build together, to be together. And it feels like, again, there's that loss of maybe this can't work out, almost like maybe love isn't enough. You know, maybe that fantasy isn't enough to get us where we wanted to go, because it does feel like they envisioned a future with you. They saw a future with you. It doesn't feel like you had. Now, again, apply this to your own conditions and circumstances. However you resonate with it is how you resonate with it, and that's the final authority for your life. But it doesn't feel like there was a full commitment in this relationship yet. If there was in your case, that's fine. But it's feeling like this person, you know, foresaw the possibilities of that. They saw the potential in this connection, again, to build a home or a family or be together in partnership or in union with you. And there was something that happened that derailed you both. And again, we haven't been given any information in this particular reading as to what that was, but I am feeling like they are trying to find clarity in terms of how they move forward. They are trying to find clarity in what is best for them and where they might feel like they are being guided. This person does feel like they're someone with some wisdom, with some intuition, to where they might seek within themselves some greater clarity on this connection, on this potential, whether it's a smart or wise move to move forward with you and to try again or to approach. It feels like some of them are perhaps intimidated by, but more so just unsure, apprehensive, or reluctant to come forward yet, because they don't know what they want exactly, or how things could be done differently, or how things might be able to change toward a greater potential for the two of you. But they are seeking out that clarity within themselves. They would like to see you guys have a future together. It does feel like at the moment they've given up and are just sort of ruminating on times past, what could have happened, you know, the what ifs. And again, they're seeking that clarity. Last but not least, they feel like this could be the one kind of situation. They feel like this could be a connection, a relationship that lasts forever. With this final card, and I did intend to show you guys more cards today, what I'm feeling with this is that they're feeling like this connection was relevant in some way. So they're realizing, again, this person feels woke or conscious or aware enough to recognize that this connection was guided and that it was supportive to them in some way. So they're feeling like and realizing that you guys could either have a potential for yourself. And when I say you guys, that's just the way that I speak, coming from Illinois in the United States, all right? So very much could be man-woman, man-man, woman-woman, even a polyamory situation. It doesn't matter. You know how to apply these details to your circumstances, but it feels like they know that this is serving them and there is a higher good that's coming out of the situation. Whether the situation results in a loss in terms of you don't come together again, or if it comes and arises to a situation where they return and share their clarity with you and say, I would like to try again. Again, I do not feel that energy right now, but that may come in the future after they discover more clarity for themselves, because they are trying to seek out their greater meaning for this connection. They're trying to discover what it was, how it was intended to serve them, how is it intended to be of purpose for both you and them. They really want to make sure they find the higher good or the highest good in this situation, and that they discover what that is. So again, that highest good could be that this results in a loss and that an eventual gain for the two of you, such that you're able to make room for someone else who is more compatible with and for you in the future. And or it could be that they do find that clarity and discover that you are the person for them and they return to you. But that feels like it would be a little bit of time or distance into the future. I'm feeling like at least 2 months, at least 6 weeks, something like that. It is a short term duration, but feels like a really long timetable. So I do want to let you know that's the energy that I'm getting. Of course, that can change at any time, but where we're at right now is they're trying to seek clarity. They're trying to find the meaning and the purpose in this overall connection. And they're going to do that before they come back to you, if they come back to you. So that's your reading, pile 1. I thank you for watching. If this lands or resonates for you, I encourage you to like and subscribe or share your story in the comments. Again, I do offer both personal readings as well as coaching sessions to support you, to bring this reading to life, to support you in your life and your work on your spiritual path. So do check out those details below if that lands for you, and I will see you next time. Thank you, pile 1. Okay, pile 2, I'm just now turning your cards over, and I've made a commitment to remember to show the cards more frequently, as I did receive feedback for that. I didn't do that for pile 1, but I will remember and I will get better. I tend to be one who just listens to YouTube most of the time or watches the person, so I can forget to show the cards, but if that is something that is desired, so be it. Okay, so what is this person thinking and feeling? Okay, so this person is doing some reflecting on this connection, on this relationship. Let's take a look at the card here. This person's doing some reflection on this connection. So, if you've come to this video, I did see this especially for pile 1. It was very clear. We'll get into the other layers of pile 2 here and see if it's relevant. But I feel like if you've come, I've just noticed the other cards that are coming up. But I feel like if you're coming onto this reading and you're asking, what are they thinking? What are they feeling? This is for someone who would you consider a soulmate, a twin flame, a partner, a spouse. And I would imagine that there might be some kind of distance or disconnect if you're having to ask this question. That's not always the case. And so however this applies to you, let it apply to you. You could be single or in a relationship, and these things might apply. Sometimes we're in relationships and we find that we don't have our footing and we don't have clarity or communication coming from the other partner, and so we might listen to a reading like this. All of that to be said, you are your final authority. Take these details and apply it to your circumstances. So this person is reflecting on the relationship right now. They're going inward to see to reassess, to evaluate. It feels like there might be some distance already in place. Why? Because the second card that I'm seeing, and we'll see how things move on from here though, is that they're coming toward you. So there might have been a revelation, there might have been some clarity, there might have been some discovery. It feels like there could have been for some of you, a delay or disconnect for a good period of time. I don't feel a certain timetable on that, but it feels like there could have been a disconnect or a delay in connection for a good period of time, some kind of separation, but this person wants to come toward you. The energy is there. Now, whether they actually do it is a different story, right? Because we all know how energy works. Energy is energy. Impulses are impulses. People don't always follow their inspirations or their inner nudges. However, it looks like this person wants to come toward you. They have, again, they've developed, they've connected with a deeper insight or connection for themselves, a revelation that wants to come forward. They want to move toward you. I'm going to pull some clarifier cards. They understand you better. So I didn't pull clarifiers for all of the, I didn't pull clarifiers for all the piles because I have 4 card piles today, and I try not to be, too complex if necessary, unless necessary. So they've come to a greater understanding and appreciation of you. So there might have been a misunderstanding in the misunderstanding in the past. There might have been some kind of hiccup or hurdle or challenge that you both were working through equally. And it looks like this person has discovered some clarity in that regard because they have come to a greater understanding of themselves in the situation, of what they want, of who you are, of where you're coming from. It just feels like there is a congruence that might not have been there before, but now is, and that is motivating them to move toward you again. It is bringing upon this energy of wanting to try again, to see how this works, to give it a go, to give it another try. It seems like they might have been not trapped, but held back or limited in the past by their previous experiences. So maybe that was their fears, their own self-doubts, lack of worthiness, childhood programming or childhood wounding. There was something that had happened for them in their past. They've been hurt maybe by another partner who perhaps cheated on them. That is a random example, but it's one that came through, so I'm sharing it. If it doesn't land for you, it doesn't have to, but it feels like this person in pile 2 that you're asking, hey, what are they thinking and feeling? They're realizing that a lot of what happened or unfolded between the two of you, the way that they were showing up in this connection or this relationship, was a result of their previous wounding, of their past, of their patterning, okay? So they're realizing, my bad, or oopsie daisy, you know, and maybe it's not regretful. I'm not even feeling like an immense amount of regret or remorse. I'm feeling like this clarity, this revelation of, oh, you know, oops, my bad, just like very quick, not this really kind of deep, dark, underbelly, shadowy stuff. And again, so if you have been disconnected for a time, it makes sense that this would be a lighter energy, but they've come to a greater understanding of this, a greater understanding and appreciation for you. And they are realizing that maybe they made some mistakes in terms of how they were showing up because of what had happened in the past that really had nothing to do with you. So they were showing up in a certain way and engaging with you in a certain way and relating to you in a certain way as a result of things that had happened in their past that have nothing to do with you. And so it was causing some issue in the connection and the relationship. Now, whether or not, again, that you were in a full relationship or a situationship doesn't matter. Just apply the reading to your circumstances. But it's saying they were realizing that it was them who was limiting themselves and not allowing the relationship to blossom to its full potential because they were being held back and limited by experiences of their past. So again, they've come about with this new revelation, this new insight, this new understanding. They're moving toward you, and they're working on trusting themselves and following through on this. Let me pull some additional clarifier cards here. Yep. So it looks like they're on the path of releasing some of these old patterns, old ways, old wounding. Now, it doesn't feel like this kind of thing, or it tends to not happen overnight, but they are focused on releasing this wound, releasing this old belief system. Again, if they were cheated on or people weren't good to them or they felt unworthy or whatever it is that happened in their childhood or early relationships, I do feel some wounding from prior romantic relationships, so that should and will land for many of you. But it feels like they put a dark gray cloud in your relationship. Take a look at these cards, okay? We have, even though these are animals and not clouds, but I'm seeing like they could put a dark gray cloud over your relationship, again, not allowing it to blossom. And again, that was because of those past patterning, past relationships, past wounding, but they've now had a breakthrough and they're seeing things clearly now. I can see clearly now, the rain has gone. So they are seeing things clearly. They're recognizing their contribution to this situation. Again, many of you have already had a disconnect or separation for some time where they were able to see this. Now, I don't feel like, again, this person may not run toward you right now, but I am feeling the energy of movement, that they've at least realized that this was a lot of themselves and how they were showing up in this connection. And so they are more willing. It's the willingness energy that I'm feeling, like they're saying, oh, there might be a potential here. And I'd like to move toward them now that I know better, now that I understand clearly. And so they're discovering greater resolve within themselves or letting this wound go. And so what's coming up here then is there is potential for a renewed connection, for a reunion, for a reconciliation. There is an opportunity here for that to happen if they decide to move forward. Now, let me pull a card on whether you guys can move forward. Okay, so I wanted to ask, should you, or would it be wise, or would Spirit suggest or offer the advice for you to move toward them? It feels like there is clarity here, greater understanding, greater appreciation, or understanding of the situation, appreciation for you, a recognition of how they were hampering or holding back or hindering the relationship, trying to discover the word here of what I want to use, and hopefully that was accurate. But it feels like here, I said, should they move forward? It says, make sure you do your own healing work too. You know, they're doing some healing. They're discovering these revelations. They're seeing how things were showing up from the past. Make sure that you're doing that too. Focus on yourself as well to be clear on where you stand and your own hurts and wounding, so that way you too don't bring it into the situation once you do reconcile, if you so desire. If you do reunite, both of you are coming from a clean slate of clear wisdom, clear understanding, and you're both able to show up differently. So you're not showing up again in any kind of blame energy or hardship or holding on to those old feelings or hard feelings that resulted as a result of your disconnect in the past with this person. Saying, make sure that you attend to your own healing before you pursue or advance toward them, and that they too are healing right now. The energy is there. It's available for you to move toward each other, but you both want to be sure and to be clear that the slate is clean, so that when you do re-enter into connection with each other, both of you aren't operating from your pasts, you're operating from your present, from wholeness, from completion, from resolve, from healthy relationship, loving dynamics with self and with other. So that's your reading, pile 2. I thank you for watching. I encourage you to like and subscribe or share your story in the comments if this resonates. Again, I'll remind you, I do offer both personal readings as well as coaching sessions to support you in your life, in your work, and on your spiritual path. And so if that lands for you, I encourage you to check out the details and reach out to me. Thank you, pile 2. Okay, pile 3, just turning these cards over for the first time, checking out what we have here. So this is on, what is your person thinking and feeling? So this person, it feels like, now I'm feeling a couple of different energies here, okay? So I'm feeling that some of you are in union already, you're in partnership. There is no disconnect, no separation, no ghosting or anything like that. Many of you, that would be the case. And even though you're watching this, what are they thinking and feeling? Sometimes we're in a relationship and maybe there's not as like bold or explicit communication, and we just want to know how our lover, our person, our twin flame, spouse, soulmate, partner is feeling, because if they're not communicating it, we just want to know. And then some of us might be in disconnect or separation. That's why we're watching this video. I am feeling like, for card pile 3, I'm feeling a little bit of two different situations. One is I'm feeling like you are in union, you are in partnership, and perhaps this person has taken some distance, but they're just giving focus to other things. That's the primary energy that I'm feeling, so we'll talk about that. I am also feeling like some of you are in a place of longing, so there might be some distance or disconnect between you and the person that you're interested in, your person of interest, the person you're asking about. Now, the details and the way that the energy that's coming up are very similar for both of those situations and circumstances, but I do want to share that both of those are possibilities as I'm sharing, because it feels like your person of interest isn't that they aren't interested in you or don't love you or don't feel like authentically connected and invested in this relationship or in this situationship or connection. It's that they're giving focus to their own life right now, their own goals, things that they want to build, the things that they want to grow. In fact, part of this is because you might even inspire them or catalyze them to grow, and or they want to be quote unquote good enough for you and valuable in your eyes. And so they are focusing on doing what they need to do in order to bring their bigger dreams, their bigger goals to life. That way you guys can both build and grow together. They really want to make sure that they have an offer to offer you, that they have something to bring to you. So, you know, in the past, many years, generations ago, and some places around the world even today, the suitor who approaches, typically in the past, it was men approaching women, and the men would have to come with property or some kind of offer to be able to take the hand of a daughter, and they would go to the father and propose, hey, this is what I have to offer. And then said family would decide whether that was a good enough and valuable offer in order to hand over their daughter's hand in marriage. And so all of that to say here, this person wants to bring forth a valuable offer for you. They don't want to be showing up with no pentacles, with no coins in their hand. And this isn't just financial, it's just a matter of who they are, you know, how much they've actualized, how much they've accomplished, how much they've done, grown, and built. And they want to make sure they come with a true offer for you. Now, whether you're in relationship or again in separation, keep in mind that this can very much be the situation. So perhaps you're in partnership and your partner is focusing on their goals, their career, their art, whatever right now, and you're feeling a little bit disconnected and a little confused. Maybe there's not as much connection or communication, and you're wondering like, why are they interested in someone else? That's not what the cards are showing. It's showing that they're focusing on themselves, and it does have to do with building a better and brighter future that ideally would include you. Now, if you're in distance and you're not having any contact or in separation with this person, again, they are focusing on themselves, and it's not having anything to do with you personally, that you've done anything wrong or they don't value you. They are invested in this connection, and it's the reason why they're getting focused and getting things together, because it's saying like they want you. There is some distance here. They want you equal to the amount that you want them, okay? They are invested in this connection, but again, they feel a yearning, a desire to grow and actualize themselves, to pursue their own dreams, to ensure they have a proper offer on the table. And it just feels like their main priority is in themselves, their own growth at this time. So that's up to you, person, who's watching this. Is that what you want to invest in? Turning the tables on yourself. And as you're watching this video, just deciding how you might want to continue to engage in this connection. Like, this person prioritizes you, they are invested in you, and yet they're not showing up for you. So if that's the case, and that's why you came to this reading today, consider that you might too want to focus on yourself, break your ties to this connection in terms of any attachment that might be draining you because you're thinking about them all the time, or wondering about them all the time, or looking up readings or whatever it is all the time. And just remembering to focus on yourself as well, because that way when you do, if you do come together again, both of you are not only more actualized, and have grown a lot, but you both built something, and you come together as equals and as true partners, and you are even more capable than you were before. So this is an opportunity for you too to focus on yourself and your own empire, so to speak, as they do that. And then when that reunion happens, whether you're in partnership and that union is just deeper intimacy down the road in a little while, or if you're in disconnect or separation and there's a reconciliation that takes place, take this opportunity to focus on yourself. Yeah, because look what we have. So I want to show you these cards. So they're working on their lives. They're focusing on their dreams, their greater destiny, okay? And right, you guys both want each other, so that's clear. And what happens, you come, and I love it because this card tends to come up with, compatibility, attracting the right partner, the right conditions, that kind of thing. And what comes up, right after we talk about both of you working on each other, is you come to a place of being able to meet each other in your own equality and compatibility, mentally, emotionally, physically, spiritually. You're able to develop the compatibility on all sides and even come into right timing with each other in terms of the circumstances and conditions of your life. So perhaps things weren't right for this connection to thrive or blossom the way things were in that moment. And so these other things are being taken care of, so that way you can come into divine union when that timing is right, which is based on you both taking care of your own growth, taking care of your own dreams, focusing on yourself, and doing your own work, doing your own healing, whatever that is for you. Each of you are going to be different. So let me pull a clarifier card in this next one. Okay, so it feels like right now, again, it would feel difficult to come toward you because, again, they're not coming toward you right now, which we have this card, right? They're not coming toward you at the moment. They're moving toward other goals. They're moving toward focusing on other things. So we're hitting upon the same cards. It would be too much to balance or to juggle. There's just not enough bandwidth or capacity there. We think of things in our mind and taking up real estate in our heads and the preoccupations that we have. Sometimes it's just too much to juggle. If we are to attempt to try to hold and do and focus on many things. So this person right now is simply not focused on this connection. They are invested. They appreciate this connection. They value you. They value this connection. And they are not prioritizing it right now. It is not a focus. It is not a priority. So for card pile 3 then, now it's up to you. You have the ball. The ball is in your court. You get to decide whether you're going to continue to pursue or question or be curious about this relationship and engage yourself in that energy that's simply not being met, or if you're going to focus on yourself, do your own work, pursue your own dreams, pursue your own goals, and then see when the flow returns for both of you to come together. Let's ask a question about when. Can we ask about when? Yeah. So I asked when. And it's saying after this transformation takes place, after this change, the wheel of fortune has to turn a little bit here. Things have to be done internally, and this is all in divine timing and divine orchestration. So there's some things happening, some inner alchemy happening for the both of you, but especially this person. And until that happens, they're not going to be able to come to you with the offer that they want to bring, or even that you deserve. Okay, so you deserve a proper offer, a more valuable offer. This person knows that, but even for you, when you're the one who's watching this, you want someone who has something to offer you, who can meet you equally. You want this transformation to take place. You want them to have their ducks in a row, even though it's hard to turn away from this connection or prioritize other things, or even focus on you and you alone for a time. That might be the answer here. It's up to you. You're your final authority, but it's saying they're not going to be able to come back to you until this transformation takes place. And I'm not getting a feeling that it's going to be sooner rather than later. It does feel like there's a decent amount of time here, 6 months at least, something like that, where they're really able to put some things into place. So that's your reading, card pile 3. I thank you for being here. If this landed for you, I encourage you to like, to subscribe, share your story in the comments. I do want to remind you, I do offer both personal readings as well as coaching sessions to support you in your life and your work on your spiritual path. So please do check out those details. Reach out to me if it lands. And thank you for watching. Okay, card pile 4. So we're talking about what is your person thinking or feeling right now. So this person is going to be a twin flame, a partner, situationship, soulmate. Obviously there's a person of interest here, and for many of you, you will be in disconnect of some kind, and there's a distance between you and separation, no contact, maybe even ghosting. Some of you might be in a relationship. So apply what I share based on your circumstances and conditions, okay? So what I say is relevant to you, but you're your final authority, and it's up to you how you decide to apply what I share, okay? So this person's going through a time of deep healing, maybe even crisis, okay? So I'm feeling like this person's going through a deep healing period. This could be a dark night of the soul, perhaps a depression. So they might have withdrawn from you because of greater life crises, external things happening in their lives, like tower moments, if you're familiar with the tarot, dark night of the soul, deeper depression, but they're going through some deeper healing work right now, and they're just unable to give you what you need. They're just not able to be emotionally available to you. They don't have the bandwidth. They don't have the capacity to be who they want to be for you. And they've totally turned inward and are simply emotionally unavailable. They're just not able to offer you what you need, okay? Now, whether that's in relationship and union, you're already there, or you're in distance and disconnect, no contact separation, you can apply this to your circumstances. They are in a time of depression, just some difficult circumstances and hardships in their lives. They're really doing some work here. They're trying to find the light in this. They're trying to find the good in this. Some of them are struggling, okay? Feeling some of them are moving towards self-medication, numbing. This could look like drug or alcohol abuse. It doesn't have to be a hard addiction, although it very much can be. Someone who just goes to the bar every night, maybe even seeking alternate sources of pleasure and or like trying to numb the pain. So it could be other parties or one night stands, things like that. I'm not feeling like that as a huge energy. What I'm feeling is someone who's trying to numb the pain, okay? So whatever that looks like, if you know your person, you probably know their patterns and what they turn to. It's probably those things, okay? So do they tend to use substances of some kind? Do they drain it out with football and dudes nights? Are they playing video games? It's going to be based on what your person tends to turn toward. Now, I do want to say, as I'm sharing this, my viewers tend to be women, and I tend to work with women, but please apply my readings to your circumstances. It's very much masculine energy and feminine energy. It doesn't really matter what the actual biological gender is here. Please apply it to your situation as it lands. Your person of interest is going through a difficult time. They're going through a personal crisis, dark night of the soul. They're really struggling. They're challenged. I do feel like some of them experience perhaps some loss in their lives, and there was something that happened that led them to an experience of great despair and or depression. And again, they're turning to other things to try to numb the pain, and they're trying to find the light. I feel like for pile 4, they haven't reached that light yet. All of this to say, so far, I am feeling for you, card pile 4, that I wanted to share something personally, and I feel like Spirit's like, We'll ask Spirit's advice, okay? Let's ask Spirit's advice, and I think we'll get it. Yeah. They're doing a lot of gluttonous kind of indulgence, hedonism kind of lifestyle, just living it up and trying not to focus on their pain. But ironically, what they want truly is you. You bring them depth, you bring them meaning, you bring substance to their life. And for that reason, that's why they avoid you. For that reason, it's why they can't face you. Because if they face you, they have to face all the pain, they have to face all their anguish, they have to face all their fears, their demons, because you are real. You know, you are something valuable. You are something, right? A lot of substance, valuable person, soulmate, twin flame, whatever. And for them to face you would mean they'd have to face themselves. So instead, if they are engaging with other people, I do feel like for some of them, they're going out and doing their thing, very hedonistic, you know, living the life, indulgence, gluttony, things like that. They're trying to avoid facing their pain. They're trying to control the pain, micromanage the pain through engaging with other people, through avoidance, through escape, again, through some of those old habits die hard kind of things. And for however that lands for each and every one of you, I wanted to ask Spirit, though, your advice for them. Yeah, Spirit's saying, because I didn't want to share this and I felt like I was very tight-lipped as soon as I went to say it, so I wanted to pull a card. They're saying it might be time to consider moving on. We're going to see, though, what happens here with the rest of the cards, but so far I wanted to ask, what's the advice, Spirit? It's to move on from this connection at the very least, even if you're not actively moving on and like engaging with other love interests or partners or whatever. It's saying you need to disengage from this connection so that you can focus on yourself, so you aren't bleeding out and bleeding your energy to this connection that is not feeding you. And because they're in crisis and going through such a difficult time, it is likely, if you are engaging with them at all, and I feel like some of you are, even though they have disconnected from you and are doing all these other things, unfortunately, you know, they're kind of coming to you at their convenience. And when they might need a pick-me-up, or when they want some light in their lives, or when they, you know, whatever it is, they're coming to you at a convenience when they need something for you to meet that need. More or less using you in a way, or using your energy, as opposed to really being able to show up for you. Because again, by facing you, they'd have to face their own pain, their own history, all that they are. And that's too much of a challenge for them at this time. So they would rather walk away, self-indulge, escape, avoid, and again, only come to you when it tickles their fancy. And so it's saying, it's time for you to disengage. And even if you don't actively move on, like start dating again or something like that, it's saying disengage from this connection, orient your focus to something that's healthier for you to give your attention and focus to for a time, and allow these things to unfold and unravel, because this person is getting their life together and you don't want to be caught up in that entanglement, because again, you're not being honored or truly valued. Even though they do love you very deeply, they are unable to be with you or offer you what you truly need, what you truly desire, and what you truly deserve. So let's get some clarifiers on these next cards. Yeah. Okay. So, you know, they're working on seeing beyond the falsehoods and beyond like the lies that their mind is telling them, their ego mind, really trying to get clear on, I feel like they're actively avoiding their own clarity and their own knowing. They know that they, you know, need to move on. Like they know where they're being called, where they're being guided, and they're simply just not doing the work. They're not facing themselves right now. So let me see here. I'm going to take a moment to sit with the cards and see what else wants to come through here. Yeah, you're being guided to follow your own path for a while, to return to yourself, to return to your own alignment, and maybe even create a different vision for your life that may not include this person, because it feels like a lot of you have built something or created something, or at least a fantasy or a projection. Maybe you had some ideas that you wanted to pursue together, or you entertained the idea of a greater commitment, or a deeper commitment, or a longer lasting commitment, or how the ways that you guys would change and things would work out. Like you've had some of those discussions with them, and this has been dialogued or explored, and it's saying, you know, it might be an opportunity here to really focus on yourself, revisit your own life, your own experience, and how you might begin to rebuild a life without them. Because here's the thing, this doesn't mean they're not going to be a part of it. It does not mean they're not going to come back. It means that you're able to give yourself focus and do what you need to do for yourself, so that when and if they do return, your life is together. You know, you've got it all together. You are whole and complete on your own, and you're doing your thing. You're being and doing you. And that way, when you do come together, things are thriving. They're able to thrive. Things are in a much greater place for things to work out, for things to unfold in their highest good, as opposed to right now when that just would not happen in the energy that they're in, and they're hitting upon all of your trigger points and all of your fears of abandonment and inner child wounding and stuff like that. So this is just not bringing out the best in either situation, or for either person, or for the experience as a whole. So it's saying, you know, getting clear on what you might want, exploring a life that might not include them, and begin pursuing that, because they may circle back around, but then you guys will be in a much better place when you get there. So yeah, you know, finding a way to free yourself from this situation, you know, really freeing yourself and allowing yourself to release all of this, even though it might be difficult. It feels like it would be difficult for many of you, but it's saying turn to your life, to your own life, even if it's just washing the dishes or going to work, but trying to shift your attention. But orienting toward your own life, shifting your attention to your own life, beginning to get into greater alignment with what you want, with what you deserve, with what you desire, with what you truly envision for yourself, right? The life that you actually have for yourself, the vision that you actually have for yourself, that really has nothing to do with them, right? When we're dreaming for ourselves, in truth, most of the time, it has nothing to do with anyone else. It's personal to us. So instead of dreaming and daydreaming and fantasizing about what could happen with them, imagine what your life would be like regardless of who's in it, what you would like it to look like, what you would like to accomplish, or, you know, what you would like to succeed in or create or whatever, and begin focusing on that, walking toward that, building that, and releasing yourself from this connection, so that the healing can happen for them and the healing can happen for you. And then if and when they come back to you, they're in a much greater place of being able to offer you something more valuable, something more substantial, something that you deserve. Because again, you bring substance, which is why they can't face you. And then when they return, if they return, you know, you'll have got your stuff together as well. And you'll be in a position and a place to be able to decide if they are meeting your standards for what you truly want based on the vision you've created for yourself. Because we're not just going to take any old person who's indulging and losing themselves to addictions and, you know, going out and sleeping with other people. You know, you want someone who can face the world with you, you know, them and you against the world, so to speak. You deserve that. And so you want to move toward the vision that you have for your life, as difficult and as painful as that might be for you to be able to disengage right now. That is the advice and the guidance from Spirit. So thank you, Pile 4. I sure hope this landed for you. If it did, I encourage you to like, to subscribe, to share your story in the comments. I do want to remind you, I do offer both personal readings as well as coaching sessions to support you in your life, in your work, and on your spiritual path. So that lands for you. Check out the details below as to how to reach me. And I look forward to seeing you next time. Thank you, Pile 4.